Today we are going to talk about the next function that we learn that we have to know. On last class, okay, let me have a short recap for what we learned from last class. Okay, on last class, okay, let me share my screen to you first. Okay, on last class, we talked about the lookup references functions. The first function that we talked that we learned on last class was lookup function. The lookup function or horizontal lookup function is a function that we use to search for the data from our data source. The things that we have to know is that when we have to decide to use the function like the lookup function, you have to know the orientation of the data first. Because normally the lookup or horizontal lookup function will work with the data that is organized, especially for the what to say the value that you use to look up or the key that you use to look up is located in the same row. For example, in here you will see that if we are talking about example number one, we would like to search for the score of somebody of a student. That means the students, the key that we would like to search for the student information in this case it is the name of the student, must be located in the same row so you can see that in here we have the name of the people, name of the student located in the same row. When you have the data or the name of the student in the same row like this it's organized horizontally, so that's why we have to use lookup. And you can see that if we have a look on the lookup function, if you have a look on lookup function, the lookup function here, we will have to look up a value in the top row of a table. So what does it mean? Let's me show you something. Sometimes the data is organized in this way. For example, if you say that, okay, the first row you have ID A01 hang on, let me just like type the ID first. For example, you may have a question like for the lookup function, we found that okay, hang on, the first row must be the value that you would like to search for. For example, if you would like to search by name of a student, for example, if you would like to find the physics score of it, you can see that in here. The problem is that um, your the name of student is located in the second row. Is located in the second row. How can we just like use the lookup function? You can see that the point in here, this is a bit tricky because in the lookup function it said that okay, the key that you have to search for must be located in the first row of the table. So the easy way is that when you have to use the first row of the table, then you just identify this table like this. You don't need to include the ID row because you can see that okay, if you would like to search for the score of a person and you would like to search by his or her name, not the ID, you can see that the table that you would like to identify is here. And the name will be the first row anyway. So that means you don't need, like the first row in here means that the first row of the table you identify. That means if the table is very big, for example, if you have the table like this and your data is located here, then you just like use the first row in here without any problem. the table that you see in here, like right now, that we have the ID of the student in here, it's just like the table in the worksheet. But the table in HLOOKUP, you can just like specify the first row as a yellow row that I just like highlighted like this. After that, when we talk about the HLOOKUP function, you can see that for the HLOOKUP, the things that we did for two different examples was that the first one was the HLOOKUP with the exact match. The exact match means that whenever you would like to find out the exact value for the key, for example, if you know that there is a student named Ed, and you just like want anyone to search the score for anyone whose name is Ed only, not Edward or any other Ed something, then you have to use exact match. This one is used for the exact match is used when only when you really would like to specify the value in the key and you want the key that is really have like the same value only. Normally we use exact match for like a name of a person when you really want to specify the exact name or the ID of a person, like student ID, citizen ID, something like that. We use exact match. And when we use exact match, the HLOOKUP argument, the last argument, you have to specify the range lookup, that is false. False is exact match. Apart from that one, if we say that, okay, we would like to search for the information that we may just like find something that is just like close to our value that we have. For example, you can see that if you would like to use the HLOOKUP to search for the BMI, body mass index, or last time, when you calculate for body mass index in this example, this person got like 18.73 for the body mass index. You can see that you will never or you will just like rarely find the exact value from our calculation here for sure. You can see that you cannot specify every single BMI, especially if the key that you would like to search for is the real number. You can see that you cannot specify every single real number in your table. That's why we have to use the range lookup that is true or closest match, because it will just like search for the closest value. So in this one, we use true for the range lookup for the closest match. For the closest match here, you have to understand the mechanism how closest match work. In this one, you can see that because 18.73, if you have a look in the BMI table, you don't see it for sure. So in what case that we normally use the closest match? For example, we use it to find out the temperature. We would like to find out some values like not a specific person's value. It might be like, for example, the grade. On last class, I showed you that, okay, for the grade of a person, you can see that the score that you receive, we can't specify that, okay, if you get 91.3, we don't enter 91.3 in the table. But we just like use the range that is quite like common. For example, we said that, okay, for 90 and above, you get A. So that means when you get like 91, when you get 91, okay, for sure it's the range. That's why we have to use closest match to help instead. For anyone who get like 91.73, he or she should receive A, something like that instead. So in that case, we'll use the closest match to help. Now let's see the mechanism for the closest match in this example. You can see that in this example, we calculate the BMI for this person. He got like 18.73. You can see that in this case we specify that our data the range of data just cover this area only. Okay, the first row is yellow row here we compare 18.73 with 0 first, and we found that 18.73 is more than 0. HLOOKUP will just like jump to the next cell to search for and compare. 18.73 will be compared with 18.5, and you can see that 18.73 is still more than 18.5. Then HLOOKUP will go to search for the next value in the next cell, and we found that 18.73 is less than 25. Then HLOOKUP will stop and then go back to one cell and then stop, and then it reports that okay, we want row number 3 of the table. That's why it report normal weight Some of you asked me on last class that when you have to search for the things, for example, if you say that okay, somebody said what about BMI 24, BMI 24 let me just like talk about if we have BMI as 24, how does HLOOKUP in this case work if you have BMI as 24. Let's see I'll show you that if BMI is 24, how HLOOKUP will do I'll do it manually so that you can see how BMI works. How HLOOKUP works. You can see that in here. Firstly, 24 will be compared with 0 first. And we can see that when we use 24 to compare with 0, we found that 24 is greater than 0 is greater than 0. Is greater than 0. That's why HLOOKUP move to the next cell, that is 18.5. Then 24 will be compared with 18.5. We still find that 24 is greater than 18.5. BMI will just like jump to the next cell and search and compare 24 and 25. You can see that 24 is less than 25 so BMI will have to go back for one cell, that is here, and then stop and reports that for BMI 24 it is normal weight. Okay, now this is the point. Some of you was wondering why 24 is closer to 25 than 18.5. Why don't BMI report it as overweight? Why it show as normal weight? And I told you that BMI doesn't use the range to compare doesn't use the range to compare. You can see that the HLOOKUP doesn't care whether BMI is closer to 25 more than 18.5 that is human being. When we think 24 is closer to 25 than 18.5, then we should report as overweight. But BMI doesn't do like that. It knows that 24 is less than 25, then it jumps back for one position and then stop it works like this It doesn't care that okay, it's closer to 18.5 than 25 or not It just check that the value that you are comparing is less than this cell, then it jumps back to one position okay. So this is the BMI this is the HLOOKUP with the BMI example that we use to find out the closest match So you can see that when we talk about the HLOOKUP function นะครับ the orientation of data นะครับ that we use in order to search for นะครับ as a key must be spanned in the same row. That's why we call it as horizontal lookup or HLOOKUP. Today we are going to talk about another function นะครับ that the organization or the orientation of the data is in different way. It spans in the same column นะครับ then we call this function as VLOOKUP นะครับ we call it as VLOOKUP. So let's have a look นะครับ for the VLOOKUP. What is it นะครับ let's see the syntax of the VLOOKUP function first นะครับ and then I'll just like show you the example นะครับ so in this one นะครับ we just like go to click on insert function นะครับ and then just type VLOOKUP. You can see that for the VLOOKUP function here นะครับ it looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table นะครับ leftmost column of a table and then return a value in the same row from the column you specify. By default, table must be sorted in ascending order นะครับ in ascending order. Okay, let's have a look นะครับ what does it mean by this function นะครับ okay, suppose we have the table like this, the data นะครับ that you need to have นะครับ or you need to use to search for นะครับ if they span in the table like this นะครับ we say that the key that we use to search for example นะครับ if we compare with the first example that we had before in in the HLOOKUP นะครับ in the HLOOKUP, the name of the student was located in the first row. So in this case, if you have name of student and you would like to search for a score from a name of a student, the name of the student must span in the first column นะครับ or if you have ID of student, the ID of the student must be spanned in the first column as well นะครับ suppose we have, let's say we have Amy, Andy นะครับ Beth, Ed, Jane. You can see that the name of the student will be spanned like this, and we say that we have score 50, 25, and so on นะครับ so the next column might be score of each course นะครับ for example physics, math, English like this. And if you would like to say, let's say you would like to search for math score นะครับ if you would like to search for the math score of Beth นะครับ like this, you can see that if your data is organized in this way, you have to use VLOOKUP. The reason is because the key is located in the same column vertically นะครับ so that's why we have to use VLOOKUP. In this case นะครับ HLOOKUP cannot be used because you can see that if you use HLOOKUP, the same row of the data, especially for the first row, it's the name of a student with like different kind of score. You cannot just like search for the data like this for the key นะครับ because if you say that the key is the name of the student, second cell on the right hand side of the first row is not the name of student anymore, but it's the score of the same student นะครับ so that's why we don't use HLOOKUP in this case. We have to use VLOOKUP นะครับ okay, so in this case this is the nature of the VLOOKUP or vertical lookup that you have to know. The next thing that you have to know is about the wording in the syntax, that they say that by default the table must be sorted in ascending order. What is ascending order นะครับ ascending order hang on, the order นะครับ of sorting, we have two different orientation of sorting นะครับ okay, let's see what is ascending and what is the other one นะครับ ascending order is the sorting of data from smaller value to larger value. So for example, from A to Z นะครับ from 0 to 9. This one we call it as ascending. While descending is the opposite way around. Descending is from Z back to A, 9 back to 0 like this นะครับ this is the sorting ascendingly and descendingly. When we have the data and it's not sorted and you would like to use it for the VLOOKUP, what are we going to do นะครับ okay, in this one you have to use like sort function to help นะครับ okay, let me give you the example first นะครับ and then we'll just like analyze whether the data is already sorted or not นะครับ I will just like copy this value for you on the chat box นะครับ okay, I better just like do one column at a time so that you can just like copy and paste it easily. Other one. Okay, นะครับ this is the data that we have. Assume that this is the data of a supermarket นะครับ it's the product product price catalog. In this case, when we have the product price catalog นะครับ in here, how do we gonna know whether it's sorted or not? Sometimes we don't know whether it's sorted or not, but we will sort it first นะครับ to make sure that everything is sorted นะครับ I'll explain to you later why do we have to sort นะครับ okay, so in this one we don't know whether it's sorted or not, but if you would like to sort the data นะครับ the things that you have to do is that firstly you have to highlight the cell that you want to sort. Make sure that you just like select every single cell นะครับ that belongs together นะครับ นะครับ in here you can see that you cannot just sort the item description นะครับ if you sort the item description you have to sort the cost นะครับ that is like the corresponding cost of that product. So the things that we have to do is that you have to highlight for both columns นะครับ this one when you highlight them already นะครับ we will sort it. In order to sort we use a feature in Microsoft Excel to sort it for you. So we go to data tab นะครับ everyone goes to data tab. You see that the sort is here นะครับ is in sort and filter group. Sort and filter group here, and the sort is here นะครับ I recommend you to use sort here นะครับ don't just click sort automatically because otherwise it might not be the one that you want to have นะครับ when you click on sort it will ask you นะครับ how to sort นะครับ okay, let's see the first one. Okay, which column that you would like to sort. Here we would like to sort the item description. It's on column B นะครับ then you have to choose column B. But actually let's see นะครับ what are just like buttons then the list of components that we have in the sort. We have add level, delete level, copy level, options, my data has headers, and then we have the rows, column, sort on, order ครับ okay, let's see. Add level means that if you would like to sort by more than one column at a time. For example, firstly, if you would like to sort by last name of people นะครับ after that for the same last name นะครับ sometimes you may have like people in the same family, you may want to sort by their first name as well. Then the second level is sort by first name นะครับ and if you have more level of sorting you can add more. For example, if the people in the same family they may have the same first name but you would like to sort by the date of birth, then you can just like put the third level as the date of birth column, something like that นะครับ okay, that is add level. Delete level means that if you don't want to sort in that level anymore, for example you don't want to know the date of birth anymore, you don't want to sort them because you know that people in the same family, normally they have different first name. Then you just sort by last name first, and then followed by first name. Then you click delete on the level you don't want to use, and then click and then it will be deleted. After that, copy level. You can also copy the level of the sorting that you set up already. Okay. Next, for options we don't use in this class. The next one that we have is my data has headers. Sometimes if you also include the headers of the table too, in that sorting, you may have to click my data has header so that it will be excluded from the sorting, because when you have to sort, you really have to sort the data only. You don't have to sort the headers. Okay, so it depends on what you choose in the data for sorting. I'll just show to you later on. And next one, it is the column that you are sorting. In here, sort by values and A to Z means that for the column sort by, you have to specify what column that you would like to sort. In this one, it's column B. Then you just click and choose sort by column B. And then you choose sort on what, on values, or on color, or font color, or icon. These are just like the tips that we may use, but normally in this class we use sort on values. And order here, A to Z is ascending. Z to A is descending. Okay. In here you can see that I start highlighting from conflicts to 0.8 or 80 cents. So in this one, I want to sort by column B. But unfortunately, in here, I said that sort by item description or cost. But in here, when we just highlight this, I don't include the headers. You see that? I start from conflict to 80 cents here. When I sort, I don't have headers. Then I just untick my data has headers, because I start selecting my data from conflicts only. Okay. So I sort by column B, because I want to sort by the item description ascendingly. I click OK. So it seems like nothing is changed because it's already sorted. Now let's try. If we sort descendingly, how will this data look like? I click sort, and then I choose sort by column B once again, sort on values, and then order I choose Z to A. Click OK. You can see that right now the order is switched already. White slice bread with 80 cents come first, while cornflakes goes last, $3.60. In here, I just want to show you once again what else. For sorting, if you include the heading, or if you include the header, what will or how will it look like? Then this one I choose item description down to 350. This one you can see that my selection also include the header here. When I sort, if I don't do anything, I say that I want to sort by column B from A to Z. You can see that in here, what happened is the header will be also sorted with you. That is wrong thing. Let me undo first. Because when I also highlight the headers, I have to choose the parameter in the sort box that I have headers as well, so that you will not sort wrongly. The headers will be just will not be included in the sorting. Then you can choose sort by item description in here and order A to Z. You can see that right now just the data is sorted, while the headers will not be included. Okay. So now you know the way to sort the data already. The data right now in this example, it's already sorted ascendingly. What's the next thing? In this case, when it's sorted already, let me give the example. Suppose we would like to find the price for toothpaste. Find the price for toothpaste. I will just create a small table like this, so that when I search for the price of the toothpaste, it show the cost for me in this box นะครับ okay, so what will I do? So firstly, when you have to use the what to say, searching or sorting of searching for or refer to the data in the table like this, we check first whether the data is organized horizontally or vertically, and you can see that the item description is like will be used as a key to search for นะครับ we have to look up the name of the product and then we find out the price or the cost of that product นะครับ and then you can see that the description or the name of the product is spanned in the same column. Then you have to use VLOOKUP นะครับ or vertical lookup to search for the data in here. So in this case นะครับ when we have to use VLOOKUP, the next thing that you have to know is that whether the data in the table is sorted already or not. If it's not sorted yet, you have to sort it. Otherwise, if it's sorted already, no problem, you can use it straight away. Now we sort the data already for the item description นะครับ the things we have to do is that we go to FX and then we go for VLOOKUP นะครับ in this one, okay, let's see the arguments that VLOOKUP need to use. The arguments of VLOOKUP are similar to the HLOOKUP. It needs to have lookup value นะครับ lookup value is the key that you like to search for. Table array is a table that contains the key and the value that you would like to identify นะครับ column index num means the column in the table นะครับ that store the value that you would like to get นะครับ and range lookup นะครับ is a way that you would like to look up the data whether it is vertically whether it is exact excuse me, exact match or closest match นะครับ just a little bit more for the index num, column index num in here means that it is the column in your specified table. For example, if your table consists of 2 columns นะครับ we exclude the first column because normally the first column must store the key นะครับ second column onward will be the column that you would like to get the value นะครับ to be reported in this cell. So in this one นะครับ we would like to find the cost. So the cost in this table, it must be in the second column นะครับ okay, let's see. In this case นะครับ we've used this function building box นะครับ to help. The lookup value here is toothpaste นะครับ I specify in the cell B52 already นะครับ table array, in this one I start from cornflakes to 80 cents. Some of you may have the question that do we have to include the header? No ครับ no need, because VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP doesn't need the headers to help. It is not human being. If we are, I mean, like for us, if we have to read or analyze this table, we have to know what is this table about นะครับ so what does it mean in here? If you exclude the headers, for human being we don't understand what is called what is cornflake, what is 350, what do they mean นะครับ this is for human being. But in terms of machine นะครับ in terms of Excel, it doesn't need to know the column B is item description, column C is cost. It doesn't need to know, but you have to set them up properly นะครับ okay, so in this one นะครับ let's see, when you just like would like to set up for the VLOOKUP นะครับ okay, I do it again. VLOOKUP, the lookup value is B52 นะครับ. Table array, I highlight from cornflakes to 80 cents. Column index num, because I want to know the cost. In this table, the cost is located in the second column. Then I type 2 นะครับ. That is column index num that I want to get. And range lookup, because I want to have the exact cost of the toothpaste นะครับ then I have to just like enter range lookup to be false นะครับ to be false okay and then you can see that in here the intermediate result is showing as 4.1 or $4.10 let's see toothpaste is $4.10 yeah this is correct so in this one we get the toothpaste for $4.10 this one นะครับ you have to be careful whenever you have to compare นะครับ or look up for the text the thing that you have to be careful นะครับ is your typing okay, let me just set up the currency unit first yeah this one is $4.10 what do I mean by spelling let's see this example ครับ you can see that if you have a look the item name is toothpaste but cost is NA or error it cannot find the cost of the toothpaste for us what's wrong นะครับ you can see that if you have a look properly toothpaste here นะครับ you double click to it first and you can see that between character E นะครับ and the end of the text I have a space here space here will cause the problem นะครับ will cause the problem because toothpaste the original one นะครับ doesn't have space behind space in Excel it's also counted นะครับ so it is the error so you have to make sure that if you are sure that you have the data นะครับ to be searched for but it shows the error like this นะครับ as the NA error or not applicable it means that there must be some mistypingนะครับ or a space behind the text in here then you have to just like fix it first some of you นะครับ ask me that you got the error that is hash and then ref instead of hash and then n/a what does it mean นะครับ so normally the error for ref means normally it means you refer to some cell wrongly for example นะครับ for example if you use VLOOKUP function use VLOOKUP function you can see that VLOOKUP has just the table array we have just 2 columns only but you choose column index num as column 3 you can see now it shows the ref because you refer to the column that is not included in your table array so that's why it shows the error like this นะครับ okay so you have to fix the problem case by case in this case you can see that it must be column 2 instead something like that นะครับ okay so this is the first example นะครับ up to this point do you have any questions for this example ครับ done ready ครับ can you fix the reference problem yet
no ค่ะ
no if no would you mind to share the screen to us so that I can fix the problem for you ครับ okay can you please allow me to control remotely I request the remote control to you already please allow me to do please open system preferences and then you have to just like allow zoom apps hang on let me see on the right hand side scroll down to see zoom hang on click plus symbol plus you see plus and minus click plus
I think she should pick the locker one first
okay yeah the padlock no ครับ hang on don't click on the left hand side because that one was gone already I can't remember which one hang on click accessibilities, then really click accessibility, left hand side, accessibility. Yeah, and then click padlock on the bottom left corner. Click padlock symbol, the padlock symbol. You see, click the lock to make changes. Click on the padlock, use password or use your ID. Yeah, and then click use Zoom. Yeah, okay, that's it. Just go switch back to Excel once again. Yeah, okay, now I see yours already. In this one, you can see that it shows ref, right? Then I have a look first. Okay. Now, hang on, let me just go to FX. Okay, and see, let's have a look. Now she is searching for B52. Yeah, the table array B42 to B48. This is the problem. You can see that you select just one column only. How can you just like search for the column index num that is column 2? No,นะครับ. This table must also include the cost, otherwise you can't do anything. So this one, you have to choose conflict to Edison, B42 to C48 นะครับ. You have to include item description and cost column นะครับ both of them, and then it should be okay. So this is the way to fix the problem นะครับ. Okay, right. So thank you ภูมิภาสิทธิ์ to help just like fixing the problem นะครับ Okay ครับ so apart from this problem, anyone else still have any problems of your HLOOKUP VLOOKUP example here? Right. If you don't have any question นะครับ the next one that I would like to let you do นะครับ I would like you to do it by yourself for this one. Okay. The next one นะครับ is the example for the VLOOKUP with the closest match. The VLOOKUP with the closest match work absolutely the same as HLOOKUP with closest match นะครับ but I mean the setting up that you need to have is the same as a VLOOKUP. So that means that firstly, you have to sort the data first นะครับ on the first column before you just like use the function VLOOKUP นะครับ Okay, this one I want you to do it by yourself นะครับ I will just like copy the this table to you นะครับ one column at a time. Okay. This is the table นะครับ to find out the grade of a student นะครับ to find out the grade of the student. I copy it to you one column at a time นะครับ one column at a time. Okay, and after that นะครับ I have question text like this. Okay, so in this example นะครับ I would like you to use VLOOKUP นะครับ to search for Emma's score นะครับ to search for Emma's score. In this one, I give you 6 minutes นะครับ to complete this นะครับ Find grade for Emma when her score is 89.6 out of 100 นะครับ so it should be like this. 89.6 in here, she should get A, something like that. So please do it for me. 6 minutes, please. Searching the grade for Emma using VLOOKUP ครับ Okay, please do it now, everyone. Okay นะครับ What do you get ครับ What grade that you get for Emma if you use VLOOKUP, everyone? นพพล said it's B plus ครับ B plus ปานิสา is B plus B plus B plus B plus. What do you want if it's your score? Would you like to get A or would you like to get B plus? We want A, yeah, right. So it seems like it's not fair for Emma, right? So what should we do ครับ in order to get A and what's wrong with the Emma นะครับ Now let me explain to you for the function VLOOKUP that we have to use for this one first. What you did นะครับ and you get B plus นะครับ it seems to be correct นะครับ just let me show you first for the VLOOKUP in here and I'll show the mechanism how VLOOKUP in this case work นะครับ let's have a look. In this one we just like go to check first because when we have to compare นะครับ we just like have to use lower as the first column นะครับ that we do นะครับ in this one you can see that all the numbers are sorted already 0 60 65 70 75 and so on นะครับ so you don't need to just like resort the table นะครับ so now we just like use this table for finding the grade for a person. We go to VLOOKUP because in this one you can see that when we would like to look up the grade of a student who's when we get the score นะครับ the score spans vertically then you have to use VLOOKUP. Lookup value here นะครับ